The curls look like they're popping today.
Hey, I just actually I don't know where the stuff is. It's like this natural hair conditioner I've been using, but I don't know what it's called. It's like it's weird. It's like shea butter and like oils.
Yeah, my mother just put me on to the Cantu, and then
Yeah, I like him too.
yeah, it works really well. That and also I just started using detangling shampoo, and that works wonders too. Like
Yeah,
just when you
I
want to
haven't
like
tried that.
shampoo and whatnot.
Yeah, they say that African Americans shouldn't wash their hair often. I don't know how true that is, but that's just
I
what I
do
read.
it every 2 weeks because it strips it of its oils.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Anywho, how you doing? How you feeling?
Bro, however you feeling, that's how I'm feeling because apparently we twins is what everybody's saying.
Yo, I am feeling not necessarily away, but I cannot wait until this is just like finally over. I know we talked earlier when quarantine had just happened. You were good. You had just snacks in your house. You were making music. You still making that music? You still good?
I'm not really making music right now. I'm just kind of eating cereal and taking one day at a time. Really, just I've been swimming a little more, working out, trying to eat healthy and stuff, staying good vibes. But this is the stuff that I was talking about.
Say it one more time. You broke up. What'd you say?
This is the stuff.
Oh, okay. It's deep conditioner.
Yeah, it's a black-owned company.
I'm gonna have to get that name because it was upside down.
What's the name?
All I saw was
What's the
deep
name of it?
conditioner.
Sunny and Dembe. Sunny and Dembe. I'll text you it.
I appreciate that because I need that in my life. Right quick. So I was reading that you necessarily didn't dream of like becoming a musician and whatnot.
Nah.
No?
Never. Not even one dream.
How did you fall into it?
Uh, just because I was writing songs, so it's like you like this close to being an artist when you're writing songs. So because it's like people hear your voice and they're imagining the song based on the reference that you lay, stuff like that. So I guess for me it was more like I just always thought being an artist was weird. Like I was just like, dang, like my validation comes from people. Like I don't really, I didn't really want that based on what I saw on like TV and stuff. They only show the bad stuff a lot of times. So like people go crazy and stuff. And it's like, I have no desire for that. But once I started making certain songs like Honesty, Cocaine, which is 2 songs on my volume 1,
Mhm.
I wrote those songs just on a whim. Like I was working for a lot of people and I would write those on my spare time just so I can keep building up my arsenal of songs that I could like send to artists. But for whatever reason, those songs just connected to me really strong. And I got real protective about them. So it was like, I started to feel like, dang, like maybe, because if I don't want them to have them, well, I'm going to just keep them on my computer. It's like, no, I need to release them. If I'm
Right.
going to release them, I need a name. If I'm going to have a name, then I might as well go hard, you know what I'm saying, and try to do this as big as I can. So it was just like one thing after the other. It wasn't like a single instance, I would say.
It was almost like a perfect storm.
Perfect storm. Yeah.
Because I'm assuming you're singing the demos for these songs too.
Yeah, like all those songs were the demos. So we just ended up keeping them. And then I got them mastered and mixed and stuff. And then also what I kept running into, which is not even bragging or anything, because at the time it was super frustrating, was my guy Chad. He would like pitch songs for me to like labels and stuff. And then they would be like, yo, he sounds too good. Like, how am I going to pitch this to an artist? And they're gonna be mentally like, oh, now they have to compete with this person who. So then that was stopping my money. It was like, what? Like now nobody. It was just one thing after the other. It was like, oh, they don't want to cut it because he sounds too nice. So then I started singing really like dumbed down, I guess, and then it was like work a little bit. But it's just being a writer is very interesting. It's very interesting.
What's so interesting about it? Just
It's interesting because as a writer, you really love music. And also in the writer community, most writers want to be artists. Like they don't want to be writers. They just fall into it. Like me, I only wanted to be a writer. So it's like you meeting all these people and they're like trying to save songs for themselves. Like, oh, I'm gonna put this on my project when it come out, which is cool. There's no disrespect to that, but for me coming into it, it was just like, wait, everybody didn't dream of like writing songs. It's like no. So a lot of people they just like, yo, I want to be an artist. I met somebody and it was just like, yo, meantime, you can write songs, build your credibility, and then so and then also you're writing songs that you're trying to pitch. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
imagine you like rap and you're a rapper and you want to talk about the trap and stuff. As a writer, I'm supposed to be versatile. So I'm supposed to be able to write a song or a hook that you could rap. And then and if like a country singer, I'm supposed to be able to write that, but through the lens of them, versus like 100% all me. And then sometimes they'll hear something and they'll be like, I don't like it. But you'll love that line. They'll be like, I don't really like that line. It's corny. So then you got to change it and adjust it to their liking versus like Honesty, which is a song that I wanted to send out. And when I did send it out, everybody wanted to change it. It's like, yo, yeah, we gonna add some beat on this, and then
And
we'll
you're like,
change
whoa,
this
whoa,
lyric
whoa!
because
It ain't even supposed to be like
yeah,
that, right?
this lyric is soft, or like maybe we make it a little harder right here. So that's when I just kind of pulled back and I was like, nah, this is like a beautiful song. I kind of want it to stay that way. So
Do you necessarily feel a way when somebody wants to change something that you poured? Because I feel like when you write something, it's your story. You wrote it because it came to you. So do you feel a way?
the writer me, no, not at all. Like I literally, when I sent out, I'm like, I actually love when people don't hit me back and they just do what they need to do and then send me the finished song. Like I hate when people like, yo, can I change? I'm like, yo, I don't care. Like I just poured out my soul into it, but I know it's not my song anymore. Once I give it to you, it's yours. That's what made it so interesting for those songs that I mentioned, like Honesty and Cocaine, because usually I don't care. I'm like, yo, I wrote and I put my heart into it, but at this point, it's not my song. So whatever you need to change as an artist on your end, change it and just, do it. You don't gotta ask me but when, like I said, back to those songs, I felt so strongly about them. I was like, oh, okay, this is happening. Like I have to be an artist now, kind of. Like I really care about the lyrics and I'm like, yo, please don't change this because the storyline was so real to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, baby, I'm afraid to fall in love. What if it's not reciprocated? It's like, what human being don't relate to that line? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like, you can't change. If you change one thing, you change the whole thing. And that just kills the story, in my opinion.
So you eventually transitioned into becoming an artist. How did family and friends take that? Because I'm sure they already knew that you just wanted to be a songwriter. So how did they transition into that?
It was cool. Honestly, like my family's like super, super chill. Like when I was growing up, they was like very religious and stuff. But I guess as I got older, they kind of like started to adapt newer type of ways. But my grandma still hasn't seen a show. This is some
No,
that no, because she's like super into church. She's like, I can't be a hypocrite. I can't be out there with the young folk watching
but you
secular
gotta
music.
support her grandbaby. Wait, hold on. Was
uh,
your family the family that would get you up early on Sunday morning after you just got in talking about it's time to go to church? Isn't that
Time
the
to go to
worst?
church.
The worst.
The worst, bro. You be like, oh, you got weird. That's why I'm partially King Sweats. Like I'm a rebel against everything that I learned when I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid. Like we had to get dressed up. I hated getting dressed up. I'm putting on shoes, dress shoes, and dress pants and all this stuff. And I'm like, why are we doing this? This is so stupid. It's like
Do
it's
you,
for God. It's like,
do you feel like when kids are like made to go to church every single weekend, it kind of turns them away?
oh yeah, 100%. I think so for sure. But also in a weird like psychological way, you're training that child to do these things, even though they didn't want to. Like when I first stopped going to church, it was weird because it was like it was so much habit in it. Even though I hated going, it
Mm-hmm.
was just like once Sunday came around, it's like, well, what am I gonna do? What do people do? Like, I don't know. I was just like, I'm usually at church this time. So then it like one Sunday passed. I was like, all right, cool. Like, guess I'll take a couple extra hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And the next Sunday, you're like, you know what? Maybe I go get breakfast or something. Then another Sunday, you just kind of get used to like building your own life and own existence around the things you actually enjoy, which is weird because you don't really know what you like if you're always in church. You know what I mean?
Were you the kid that couldn't listen to secular music and stuff like that?
Yep, that was
You
me.
couldn't.
Nah, could not. I could listen to pop, which is weird, and I could listen to rock, but I couldn't listen like I guess rap and R&B. It was just like nah, like
And you're from Philly, where I feel like that's where like I don't want to say that's where a lot of the greats come from. You know what I'm saying? You got Jill Scott, Gamble
Jill
and Ralph,
Scott,
Eve. You know what I'm saying?
Music Soul Child.
Right. Like
Like,
all of
it's
those
crazy.
musical influences from Philly, and you couldn't partake in none of that.
Nope. So it was like it's funny because that just lets you know how powerful music is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as an adult now, I can look and say like, wow, even though I wasn't allowed to listen to those things, all of the music still affected me because everyone else around me did. So if Jay-Z started wearing button-ups, then my whole school's wearing button-ups. And then I'm like, oh, cool, I got a week to get a button-up. Like, because this is clearly the thing. So it still affects me culturally. I just wasn't aware 100% all the time what was what was happening. Like I remember one time, like the kids were like playing a prank on me because I was acting like I knew a song that I didn't know. It was like a Jay-Z
Wow.
song. It was like, yo, you heard that new da 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 da, and I was like, yeah, that's on hard. And then later at lunch they was having like a freestyle battle, and I used to like beat on the table and stuff. So this dude was just spitting bars like so effortless. I'm talking about like he was saying some stuff, and I'm like, yo, why is he not like famous? We in like third grade, fourth grade. And I'm like, yo, this dude is so good. And everybody's like, yo, he's spitting right. And then later, like my boy told me, he was like, that was the Jay-Z verse. He wasn't actually freestyling. He was capping. Like, so I was like, dang. So everybody know that I really didn't hear the song. So I was like, dang.
You're
And
exposed.
I was exposed. But the funny thing is, he was rapping it in a freestyle. So it was like, it threw me off because I'm thinking like, yo, he literally not even thinking. Like, he just spitting out these lyrics. I'm like, yo, he is crazy. We in third grade. He should be famous already. Like, Lil Bow Wow who? You know what I mean? Like,
As if it was his own. That's crazy.
yeah, he was spitting it. And I feel like everybody else started to catch on. But me, I was just like, yo, he's so fire. And then they started peeping like, yo, he just talking about this Jay-Z song. And you said you heard it. So clearly you didn't.
Do you remember what song it was?
I don't. I do not. I still don't know a lot of music. Like, a lot of stuff from like my childhood that probably was popular.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. I don't really know a lot of those songs. But also, I'm not a person that like, I don't like to try to play catch up because then I feel like I'll get stuck
Mm-hmm.
trying to like make up for all the lost time. So when things come to me, I definitely like will sit down. Like if I'm thinking about an artist, I'm like, what makes them great? Like, why do people love them? And then I'll like just go and listen to the music. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, this is hot. And then I'll try to put myself in that place at that time because music is subjective, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like the songs it's like a movie. I don't know. Everybody got their favorite movie that they saw when they was a kid, especially people that's like over 25 when you remember VHS. So you might be like telling somebody about this movie you loved when you was a kid. You like, yo, this show on fire. Put it in. You like loving it, and then the person you showing it to, they're like, this is kind
Okay.
of trash.
Yeah, right.
Because it's subjective. Because you have an emotional and memory attached to that. Like you could recall the cereal you were eating when you first saw it. You remember the shoes you know. So there's so many things that comes with like music.
I feel like
So
art
work
is
together.
subjective though.
Yeah,
Just
art
art
as a whole.
period.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
100%.
So let's talk about the new single that you got out, 17. You know what? One thing that I really, really dig about your music, it's so soulful. And I'm like a huge R&B head. So I love like, just this like soulfulness of it. What's 17 about?
17 is it's essentially about like a love that I feel like is portrayed on TV and movies and things that whenever you're watching that movie, you just feel like, dang, like I want that. You know what I mean? Like I want that forever kind of love. I want that like, you know, you see on the news like they'll show like an old couple and like, yeah, we've been together since 1952 or something like you're like, what? Like and you just start trying to imagine, like for me, that's what that song was. It was like it was like outward imagination. It was like, man, like I don't really have that at the time. So it's like, man, I wonder what it would be like to be with someone with all their flaws and imperfections. Cause, I feel like and one of the lyrics in the song is I don't really know what's right, but I can't call you wrong. I could never call you wrong.
Mm,
And the reality is, as human beings, we don't really know nothing. You know what I mean? What's right for you might be wrong for me. So it's like you just know it feels good. And you're like, yo, man, like this is fire. Like whatever this is, I just want to keep doing it. Regardless of all the things that might not be perfect. Cause I feel like love is, it's no imperfection in love because if everything's always perfect, that's like when I'm talking with my friends, I'm like, yo, if everything you want in a person comes to you, then how do you know you really love them? You know what I'm saying? That's like a parent if they like having a vision of their kid, and that kid is every single thing they ever imagined. How do you know you love your kids until
then they
they
wake
do
up from
something
that
that you don't?
dream.
Yeah, and it's like you only know love through imperfection. You know what I'm saying? Because I could say like, "Yo, bro, love you, man," but then you could say something crazy to somebody else, and then I hear it, and it's like, "Dude, do you not love that person no more? Y'all not cool? It's not good vibes no more because they did something you didn't like." So I think love, the word, the emotion, the feeling that's attached to that is eternal. Like it's just like somebody you was dating before. Like you don't really ever not love them. If you love them differently, but that love is something still there. Where like you see them 10 years from now. You're going to have memories of those things that took place. So it's like, dang, like I still got love for them, however you feel about that. But yeah, it's just eternal, literally eternal love, like on some like, yo, even people who not in a relationship, like I said, parents, it's like, yo, if you have you like E's, all A's, and then they come with a B, it's like, you still love them. You know what I mean? And that imperfection tests your love. It's like, yo, no matter what happens, I want to ride out with this person. And I want to be on my, you know, deathbed and know that like literally I don't have no regrets because I found somebody that I can share my whole life with.
Absolutely. Bruh, well, I appreciate you jumping on Zoom and chatting with us.
Next time I'm gonna interview you, man. They think they're not gonna know the difference.
You know what's funny? We should when the radio station is open back up, please come back so we can formally do this and we can turn the tables. I think that would be so legit because I got some stories
Super
that I want to
fun.
get out.
Yo, I love hearing people's stories, man. Like, if I could be the interviewer, I would.
I mean, you got this. You got it. Um, but I appreciate you jumping on. Thank you.
Thank you, EJ. Have a good one, bro.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, man.
All righty.